doesn't matter where you place. If you want to try it out for a job, but you're not sure you'll end up getting it, who cares? Go in, try it. If you get it, great. If you don't, ask why. Ask how. How can you become better? How you can improve? How can you go forward?
Yeah, you know, it's your boy. Yeah. Alright, listen. I started out on the pavement. Bet you thought I wouldn't make it. Wondering why you ain't did it? Cause you only working that day shift. Yeah, success is contagious. We're winners on regular basis. A lot of y'all getting mad, huh? Like how we do it from the basement. I ain't been getting no sleep. Lately I'm playing for keeps. Lately I'm out on these streets. Been talking to God.
And welcome back to another episode of the P.O.T.N podcast, a podcast dedicated to all people, motivating all of you listeners to go that one step further in your lives. I'm your host, Takura, and today I am joined by an exceptional guest. We both studied at Teesside Uni, which is actually where we met. He is currently doing his PhD at the university. He's a chair of the Postgraduate Society. He has an enormous passion for sports sciences, which includes topics like sports psychology, which he's included as well in his blog called Strength is Never a Weakness. He's also a businessman and has been an Irish national coach for powerlifting. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to introduce you to Andrew. Andrew, thank you for joining. Welcome to the show.
You're right. How are you? Good?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, good. Thank you for jumping on and also taking the time to join me here.
No, it's fine, man.
Absolutely, yeah, man. It's great to have you on the podcast. So, we'll jump straight into it, and I'm pretty sure from that stellar intro I've given you, I'm pretty sure you're gonna add.
Hyped it up there. You hyped it up, definitely.
Definitely, man. So, obviously, like to jump straight in, man. Can you tell our listeners, obviously, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're currently doing, and what you get up to in your free time?
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from Coleraine, Northern Ireland, but I live and work in Middlesbrough now, full time. As alluded to in the intro, I started my higher education here at Teesside Uni. That was back in 2013, and I've been here ever since, both doing further education on top of my undergrad course, which has led me now to full-time work in the area here. With that, my main interests are keeping fit, going to gigs, concerts, whatnot. A lot of traveling. Quite enjoy historical and religious sites just to go and see to more understand the history. Really into Warhammer 40k. Always enjoy going to see different sports and athletes play, and enjoy just reading and doing research and experiments and learning, which obviously is my main role doing my PhD currently.
Awesome, man, and that's a stellar intro as well. You can see, guys, that Andrew is the ideal definition of work hard, play hard. He works hard in his studies, at work, and also finds the time to relax, unwind, and also have fun, go out and see sports, live shows, music, all of that. So it's really exciting to hear, bro.
It's about just getting the balance right. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously with lockdown, as of many, we've all had to adjust how we relax, how we work. I mean, I'm still in the fortunate position where I can work from home, but obviously I had to change up a bit, in terms of working in my room where I also sleep and I also relax, like playing games or read. It's quite weird because you almost don't get away from the work. The work's always there. So I've been trying go out on more walks with a few friends. So one way of catching up with friends you haven't seen in 5-6 months, just due to COVID and whatnot, is I would just arrange them to go for a walk along the river, forest or park. So it kills two birds with one stone. You're getting your physical exercise activity in, but also you get to see a friend, which is good too. But with that, it's been quite to adjust my whole training as well, as imagine quite a lot of people have. So I always enjoyed going to the gym. But I didn't have a gym because obviously everywhere was closed. So I've had to like make a home gym. So I've got myself my own bike, some more weights, some more bands and stuff just to do something. And obviously my training's changed completely. Like I'm more focused on health and being fitter, focusing on just to move more instead of lifting more weight because I'm sitting down more because I'm working at home more. So it's just trying to find that balance and adjust as life places its new demands and stresses on you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, bro. I think it's interesting. Like if we go back to obviously when all of this started happening, how our lives changed and our routines changed,
Completely flipped. Yeah.
and how like obviously the bedroom is obviously associated with sleeping and relaxing, and now you've had to change it into an office sort of, and
Yeah, so like I had to just to jump in. My office is about 6 feet from where I sleep, so it definitely isn't like ideal. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's great you can work from home." I'm like, "Yeah, but sometimes I just want to get out of the house and go somewhere else to work."
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
and you found a perfect outlet for that, with obviously meeting up with your friends, and also like getting in some fitness and some exercising as well. And obviously, I'm pretty sure you covered this as well in your PhD as well, because I remember like so your focus is on the sports science side, the health and the well being. I'm pretty sure
hmm
this is what you've also included in your PhD as well, right?
Yeah, so the research I'm currently doing for my thesis here is looking at it from two questionnaires. So one questionnaire is from stakeholders and whose staff would be part of organizations or a stakeholder. That's how I term as an organization, institution, group, national body, council, whatnot, as anyone who would deliver, run, manage, or serve the public in terms of health, public health, drug and alcohol recovery, sports science, physical activity, and education, in terms of anything under the umbrella of health. And I'm asking those staff opinions right from the frontline level staff all the way up to managers, what they perceive and what their views and opinions are of their own organization and what they're doing within the Tees Valley area. So for those who don't know what the Tees Valley is, that's the region of Darlington, Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, Stockton-on-Tees, and Redcar in Cleveland. And also that's located in the northeast of England here in the UK. Now, with that, the other questionnaire is looking at the Tees Valley residents. So I'm asking the actual residents themselves what's their views and of opinions, what's preventing them from being fitter and being more active in the actual area or within their own wards they live. So that way I can compare both professional and personal views, and then I can create a layer of themes which themes match up, B, which themes are completely contrasting, C, is there a difference in opinion by a ward, is there a difference in opinion by age, by gender as well, is there some like stark views on, oh, I can't exercise because of there's antisocial behavior in my area, or is that there's no access to facilities, is it due to lack of time, money, or is it due to obviously the most recent one, which obviously I had to add in, was it down to COVID? So, and then from this here is hopefully to create new policy recommendations for the region so all the councils and organizations can act on to improve their own well-being and sports strategies, to help out with local and national funding bids for the area, and also to help improve the life expectancy and health of the residents in the area.
Absolutely, but I find that research really, really important and very, very interesting. How you're looking into that, and obviously from an organizational perspective and from a personal perspective, because obviously, like people like myself, obviously we are the residents of this area. You engaging with us, and also you're finding out where the differences are. So I'm really looking forward to like the results when you get a chance to publish them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be for a while because obviously you need to go over and analyze and yeah, go on.
Oh, of course, yeah. So we're only into day two of collecting data, and I think we've we're at 83 or 84 participants, which is good going. It's just about keeping that momentum and just like trying to get as many people as we possibly can, because the more people we get, it just ensures that a lot of views are represented and covered from different, obviously, ages, genders, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, and including all. Hopefully, want to get all the wards in the Tees Valley area included as well. But it was interesting because the working title for my thesis is investigating the sedentary lifestyles of the Tees Valley, and obviously during lockdown, I found myself becoming more sedentary because like I couldn't really work, wasn't going well at home just because I didn't like working at home, and I couldn't go to a gym. And I'm a guy who would train, 5 to 7 times a week pre lockdown. This was, and I had a really good routine, nailed down goals and everything. So I'm like, right, I don't want to become sedentary. That's why I looked at doing more walks, getting on the bike and everything. So in one sense, the work gave me my own like a wake up call to be more active as well. Yeah, so if it was more just when obviously being so active to like not being active, and then almost just sort of clicked like rereading my title of my work, and I was like, I don't want to become part of the sedentary population within the Tees Valley. I want to be more active, but at the same time, I developed like a little bit of empathy and a deeper understanding as to how and why someone could become um what's the word? It would be to be disconnected from being more active, and like how barriers can easily form and to prevent you from being active, as such as like almost a lack of access, boredom, or like obviously with the COVID pandemic, you almost don't want to go outside and do work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and I think as well, like, because of obviously there's that fear, and I think also like it's put a lot of us in a limbo where we're not really sure what to do with ourselves as well. Especially if you're somebody who was so used to going outside, and then all of a sudden you're now being asked to stay in a lot more. It's now you've now had to go back into a form of discovery, you say, like finding a new way of working with the conditions you're under.
Yeah.
So we'll move on from that, and obviously like uh building into your passion, because I know sports science and fitness is one of your passions, and obviously talk. I'd like obviously for you to tell myself and the listeners, a lot more about that, and any other passions that you have, and what you love most about those passions as well.
All right. Sure. So in terms of like the business stuff, so I used to run a online business a few years ago called RSC, Richardson Strength and Conditioning, and that essentially was Takura, just an online training platform, which I use through social media, mainly through the platform of Facebook, and I have my own website with that. And now I think I was sub around about, I want to say 2015, about then. I did it for a couple of years. One, just to give myself some more experience to obviously increase my number of clients I had. And that was very much looking at training clients all around the UK and Ireland in a range of sports, tied in with my sports science undergrad and my master's very well. End up coaching a few athletes to international level in teams, or being trialed for their own national teams too, as well as just a range of clients who just wanted to either lose weight or become stronger, fitter, or just get themselves into a better lifestyle. In terms of like starting like the business, like we go really going into that, is the first time I've ever done one. It was very much just the way I viewed it was like trying to think, right, if I was managing myself in the job at the gym, which I had, and I just said, right, how can I put this then to be online to offer the same services? And I was very much just trying to operate it in that sense, ensuring there was like targeted advertising within certain area, make sure I had a good social media content, obviously demonstrating exercises, putting to bed some exercise myths. That's where the likes of my blog, Strength is Never Weakness, came in very handy, because that helped to generate the content, and I just kept sharing that out. Any sort of videos I do with clients, it was very much to teach them. I wasn't lecturing at them or talking at them, as talking with them, making sure they're part of the conversation, making sure they understand what they were doing. It wasn't just for the sake of lifting a object or pushing an object or getting tired. It was so that they could enjoy pain-free movements and actually see a lifestyle and behavioral change. It was to ensure that they would increase their confidence, improve their actual mood, and to actually teach them, right, this is how you do it with good form so you don't get injured. And so they understand the recovery process, and they understand, to elicit a physical change, it takes time. When you're training, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, especially if you want to change your body composition, or if you're training for a long-term goal, such as being able to run a marathon or a 10K race, or to put on some more lean muscle mass. It's not something that's done overnight. And I think we do live in a generation where people expect things instantly, but that's because we are blessed with instant messenger text messages. Everyone has a phone, everyone can order things online from Amazon. It can arrive tomorrow. We take medicines that work instantly. So I think obviously it's quite natural for people to assume, oh, if I go in the gym and do this and this, I'll get fit and strong, which is it's complete opposite. It takes time.
Oh yeah, you'd finished. Oh, sorry.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah, no, it's just all right. Yeah, yeah. I was just adding in case you want to add something in there.
oh, right. So yeah, I need to be like more sharper with when you finish. But yeah, no, I agree, because I think the first part, obviously, like that experience of you starting a business has given you the exposure into how, how setting up a business is like, the elements that go into it, obviously the client base, the operations of the business, how you're going to reach clients and all that stuff. And obviously you got that exposure as well, which has obviously helped you, and you've interlinked your blog into that, where you're working with coaches, with people who want to get better in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
you know and I like how you said you're not talking at them, you're talking with them, because it's everyone's journey in the gym, as well as outside of the gym. It's quite personalized, it's quite unique. So understanding that
It is, yeah.
it's understanding that person's requirements. Obviously, it takes a bit of time, it takes a bit of patience, observation, and also a lot of material that they have to go through and understand. Because you know how it's when you go to the gym, you need to understand your body better than the person who's training you as well. So, and then communicate that across to the trainer. So it's really, really important you've managed to build that bridge with them as well on that. And onto, and like, in addition, when you said the generation we live in now, if you expect, there's an expectation to get things very, very quickly because of how rapid technology is, and how efficient like services like Amazon are. And I think the mistake we make is we assume that it's going to be the same with bodybuilding, fitness, or anything like that. It's not a process where in 2-3 sessions, I'm the strongest man in the world. No, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's an element of having that patience to build a solid foundation first, and then build from that.
Yes, and yeah, and it's like, and it's just all about, for example, like when some people would say, for them going to the gym is very much, they see it as like this a humongous mountain they have to climb, because it goes against everything they have ever done, in terms of like being either being very accountable of their own actions, of what they have, how they train, what they eat, do they get enough sleep, whatnot. And it's about, changing that. And then once people get in a good routine, if they're very consistent with their gym work and their what they're eating and their sleeping, that then will spill over in a positive sense towards their work, their relationships with friends, family, peers, spouses, kids, and everything. And you'll see everything has such a positive knock-on effect because they can see that whenever you're in the gym, you're almost like breaking your body down to build it back up, and by building back up, you become more confident, you're happier, you feel good, you look better, because obviously how the body composition would then change, and obviously your goals increase and your goals get bigger and harder because you keep on beating them. So it's a great journey for anyone, and obviously I applaud anyone who starts their own fitness journey, because taking that first step is very hard. And whenever you see someone who's in the gym trying their best, it's great to see. And for anyone who sees anyone know who's putting in the work, regardless of what shape, size, and goal there is, just nod at them, smile. I know, and that just acknowledgement means that it goes like, I know what you're doing, I know what you're trying to do, and keep going.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, isn't it? It's exactly that. So it's I guess as well, like it's a process where you have to build, and it's not, obviously it's not instant. You have to obviously get yourself comfortable, condition yourself, and then obviously start working and then building upon that. So that's really important. Um, Obviously building on from that, I can really see, from what you said, that your work ethic is, next level. It's on Andrew level, man. It's up there. It's really good, and I'm a big admirer of that. So I really want to find out, who your inspirations are, right? And have made a positive impact on you.
So it's a good question. No one's actually asked me that before. I would say, in terms of positive impact on my work ethic and goal focus, probably be my parents. I would say, definitely. Just always teach me from a young age to be accountable, be honest, just work hard. As long as you do your best, no one can ever say anything else. It's always like you always put yourself first in that regard. And as long as you try and say at the very end of that, be an exam, that be a sports event, whatnot, you can always know yourself that I did everything I could. So I've always taken that from them both. Um, I would say, just in terms of like other stuff, I say it's a lot of times the people who you surround yourself with. I mean, I'll give a very simple example of this. In my undergrad in applied sports science, the five people who I studied with the most, we all end up getting firsts, and with that, there, it was just because we all kept each other accountable. We all wanted to push each other, and we all wanted to work hard. Um, I would say other things that's probably helped me is I always look for people who are older than me just for like advice. That doesn't mean that can be someone who's just a year older, like someone who's 10, 20 years older as well. Just always ask them, I'd say, like, so, okay, how and why are you doing this? Is there a reason? What's your thoughts on this? Because then again, you can learn of people who've just been around longer. They've seen people more. They understand how people behave better, and they just got more life experiences. And there's nothing wrong with asking for other people's views on that. And I'd say probably the last one is that I just like to surround myself with people who work hard. No, I just can't deal with people who are just lazy. And I don't mean lazy. I don't mean lazy in the sense that people of the weekend just want to play a bit of Xbox and don't do anything all day. Like, I understand that here. I love Xbox. I love COD, like playing Warzone with my friends and stuff. Like, it's great. But I mean people who just have no drive, people who have no ambition to, like, to work hard. Because for me, it's like I want to keep going till for me, like, my long term goal would be to become like a professor or a dean of a school, and just pump out loads of research, have my own select level of have my own PhD students, have my own department. Because I don't see why I couldn't. It's just about hitting objectives and time, and you're in it for the long term. mean, people always have this innate pressure that they have to get everything done in their 20s, which is just crap. We're going to be living till we're like, the life expectancy in this country now for men is like 79, I believe, 78, 79 on average, and for women it's like 82 or 83. And obviously for us, that's probably going to again change in the next 20 to 30 years to probably go up into the mid 80s, hopefully towards the 90s as an average. And if you're already fit and active, you're going to be hitting the 80s and 90s, maybe even the 100, the century mark. So I don't see it as like, just because you don't have the job you want yet doesn't mean you won't get it. You'll end up getting it in time. And if that means I have to do a few more years of learning at uni or school, that's fine, because I'm going to be working for 30, 40 years anyway. So I may as well enjoy it, and I may as well get the job I want to do, instead of just worrying about, oh, I have to get this job before I'm 25 or 30. So, and that's why I want to hire people who are ambitious, who have goals and stuff. But yeah, sorry for the rant there. Yeah, that was just a bit of a rant there.
No, that's perfectly fine, bro. No, and I agree with you, because obviously firstly, obviously, shout out to your parents, obviously, for being a positive inspiration to you, and obviously helping you develop that drive, and obviously that hunger and desire to obviously work hard, reward yourself, and obviously achieve great things, and obviously surrounding yourself with the right people. Obviously it does influence your actions and behaviors and your work ethic as well. And I agree with you that on that point where you say, I don't know where people feel the societal pressures to get certain things achieved by a certain age so it's one of those where if people take a look at themselves, see what they want to do, and then obviously set out a plan on how they want to get there. Obviously, the road is not going to be a straight line. You have to anticipate challenges and twists and turns as they come, but not to put yourself under a lot of pressure to, for instance, have a job where you're earning 50K by like a certain age, early, like late 20s or something like that. I think it really puts a lot of strain and incorporates a lot of stress which you don't really need, especially at this stage. Young, ambitious, wanting to learn, and obviously you're looking to become a dean, and obviously have a team of PhD students, have a department that produces new research, which is really good, man, because the more research that comes out, the more informative people will be, and the more resources people can look into as well and find from that research. Because I think me and you can both agree, from the research and the studies we've done at uni, from the books and stuff we've had to go over for assignments and all, none of that would have been possible if people had said, "No, I'm not going to do this research. I'm just going to let things be, and I'm not going to do much." They took it upon themselves to say, actually, I want to make sure that I cover this topic. I find a deductive answer, and this research can be used to help other people as well. So, it's that kind of attitude, because you don't want to leave people wondering, like, what could have been, or what was the answer to this. So you want to be able to do what you can to find answers to a lot of the questions that people may have. Maybe not right now, but I'm pretty sure in future, when people are looking for answers and they find your research and articles, papers, novels, books and like that, you hopefully write, or touch wood, that you get into. So it'll help in that essence, because it's your building, and you're headed in that direction, which is really, really encouraging, bro, and it's really, really exciting to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's just about like your research not only helps people, it tells a story of how you began it as well, and just like where it then leads to, and how the follow up work, it interlinks with your previous pieces as well, and that way you're almost like assembling like parts of a puzzle to try and get this deeper meaning. And it may lead to aspects within a subculture or group or demographic or an area where you're thinking, oh, I was not aware of this, or I did not know this here was a particular issue or something that needed fixing as well, or I wasn't aware that there's a group of people who feel they don't have a voice in this area. So it is quite interesting, and there's many things we can research. There's many things we can look to do to obviously help improve things, because there's always things which need improving or updating or to make a positive change.
Exactly, man. And we're living in a world now where, you know, change is happening at a rapid rate. Today, obviously,
Hmm.
this podcast episode, when it comes out, obviously, we're discussing on areas of technology, some areas of sports science, and, you never know, like pretty much 2 weeks, 3 weeks later from this episode, a breakthrough could be made in the health and fitness sector about improving well-being, or like progress being made on developing um a you know a system that allows people to obviously get fit and all that stuff. So it's happening rapidly at a rapid rate, and obviously it's our job to try and keep up, because obviously things are progressing quite quickly, and it's really really amazing how things are like moving quite quickly. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I was just going to say that. Yeah, I agree, and it's about finding the best way to obviously improve someone's health or lifestyle that is specific to them, and it's the most bang for your buck, and it generates the most yield. And it's almost like your whatever time you put into, let's say, a program or an intervention, it's going to give you back the best results. And that's just what it is. And obviously, programs and training methods have been proven for years, but we've still got a long way to go.
exactly, man. And it's a constant. It is like you said, it's something that's being developed, and it keeps changing, and there's iterations and there's improvements as we progress. So it's interesting to see where things go, and how we will actually end up using some of the information, some of the technology, obviously to better our lives, and obviously improve our health and fitness as well. That is also an area, like you, obviously health and fitness is priority. It's also, I would say, it's also priority for me, as well. Just to make sure that staying on top of things, whilst I still can, and not ensuring that I'm not, like, you never put yourself in a position where, like, you're that saying, prevention is better than cure.
Yes, yeah, it's all about being proactive and not reactive to it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, you know, things do happen which lead us to be more reactive, but they do teach us to be more proactive. And I think obviously the recent example of COVID, I know myself, like I'll put my hand up and say, like during probably the month of May, I probably gained some weight, but that's because I didn't have access to it. And I thought, and obviously things were delayed in shipping and whatnot. But as soon as I could order a bike, I did. And obviously it's just about being proactive with that. But I know plenty of people who still are yet to go back to their own gyms because they're so out of sync in their own routine. And if you're one of them people, that is fine. Just try and do that little bit to get yourself back into it instead of taking the bus. Try and walk a bit longer, maybe get off at the stop before you arrive at home. Try and cycle to work, try and take the actual stairs. I know some people, due to their underlying health conditions, that they don't really go outside a lot in case of catching COVID. So what they do is they do a lot of laps up and down their actual flight of stairs. Now, if your house doesn't have stairs, perhaps all you need to do is just to get out like a box or like a step and just do as many steps up and down, and you do like sets of intervals. So you do as many as you can with good form within a minute, 60 seconds, and then take 30 seconds off or 45 seconds off and do that 10 times. And for some people, that could be enough. For others, it may be even less. Try and do a few reps and sets of sitting up and down from your chair. So everyone has to start somewhere, and it doesn't matter how small it is, it's still a start and you're still moving, which is a positive lifestyle change.
Exactly. You're more proactive. You're actually, in general, even if you're not doing like the 5K runs or anything, the fact that
Or the weights, yeah. It's just about moving, man. Just keep moving. And a simple thing everyone can do on their phone is most phones. I'm very surprised if any phone wouldn't do this, that you can have apps or a built-in thing. I know on iOS, I'm just using my own phone here on the iPhone. You can go to Health, which is like the heart app, and you can track how many steps you're doing as well.
yeah,
And obviously, the good rule of thumb is, try and get more than 5,000 steps a day. If it's under 5,000 steps, that's to be considered sedentary. Now, however, some people may already say, but Andrew, I'm doing cycling, I'm going swimming, I'm going to the gym, but I'm not getting those 5,000 steps. Is that bad? No, it's not. As long as you're doing some form of movement, it's fine. But try and obviously start to build up. Now, for some people, 5,000 steps may be quite hard. So try and hit the 3 or the 2, and then build up from there. And that's a simple way of just tracking it. Then each week you build it up, then each month you build it up as well, and then over the year you can see, wow, how far you're walking.
exactly, bro, exactly, and it's a progress where you just build on from that, and you let you obviously you set yourself a goal, and obviously if you don't reach it, obviously you readjust and you adapt to the changing goals, and obviously you progress and you increment and you improve towards that. So obviously, from what you said, we've really talked about a lot about movement and fitness and all. So leading on to the next question, can you tell our listeners, obviously, from being a businessman, a PhD student, a regular student, the president of activities, you've had a lot of titles here. But being a powerlifting coach as well, what kind of can you tell our listeners like how you've overcome some of the challenges you faced in those various roles, and what the most valuable thing about those challenges have taught you, like the most valuable thing about failure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, easily. I think, well, all the things you mentioned, like some of them are very different to each other. I think it's very much like there is a theme connecting them all, and it's like planning, and it's taking your time to plan in advance what your goals are for each of them. So it would be, doing your intelligence, knowing who your audience is, knowing what their interests are, knowing how you're going to connect with them, what's going to be that key moment which that's going to keep them interested in your business, your sale, or what you're trying to get them to do for you. That be to become a client, that be them to fill in your survey for a piece of research you're doing, that be for them to take part in a vote to like to keep you in office. It could be anything. So it's about understanding your own audience and doing intelligence, and that could be just reading up on your thing. So doing your pre-reading, understanding your the theory behind it, obviously knowing what people's interests are, and obviously then from that, once you understand the background of your audience, it's like then looking at the timing. It's how and when would you deliver the message? Do you deliver it first thing in the morning? Do you deliver it the evening, like late in the evening? Do you deliver it at let's say they're on their afternoon break or lunch times? Do you then deliver it through what sort of app? Social media, email, phone call, text, face to face, and then after that as well is, okay, how do I personalize the message to them? So it's very much like you have to break it down layer by layer and try to understand what your goal is and how you're going to get someone to do what you want to do. And I think like a lot of that all hinges on your communication. So I remember writing a reflective task for one of the teaching qualifications I've done. I think it's for my QTLS, the Qualified Teacher Learner Status Award. It's called, and it was about understanding the language which you choose to teach to your audience or the classroom you have. And you may have all the answers, being the educator, being the lecturer, or being the person at the front of the room. However, the people in the room don't have all that knowledge, and your goal is to give that knowledge to them from A to B. Now, however, you can't just give that as the way you would normally do, the way you understand it, because they won't understand that. So it's about, I wouldn't say dumbing down is the correct word. I would say just reformatting or repackaging it in a way which they can open it up and go, all right, I understand that. So, for example, it would be, there's a film called Margin Call, and obviously it's to do with, it's like the day or the week before the 2008 financial crash on Wall Street, and this year bank is, obviously someone's got like a tip off, and this analyst within this bank is reading all the data, and he says, yeah, there's going to be a massive crash. And this guy, from the film, you learn he's a former rocket scientist, and he understands algorithms and numbers and stats very, very well. The CEO comes in and asks who did it. Your man says it was me. He says, you're a data scientist and all this. He's like, yeah, yeah. And he says, right, talk to me as if I was a young child or a golden retriever. And the guy looks at him completely confused, and their CEO goes, it wasn't brains which landed me this role. And for me, that really, like, it nails the point about, like, you have to know your own audience, and you have to be able to communicate in such a way for them to understand. And that's about, conveying scientific language in a way which your students, your audience, your clients gets, and it speaks and resonates with them. Because if you start explaining all these complex terminologies or the end product, they're going to be, well, I don't see how that relates to me, or that doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes it's just as simple as starting up a like a chat with them, just saying, hi, how are you, what's your name, where are you from, what are you up to? Oh, cool, right. Oh, so you're working here at the uni as well? Oh, me too, I work over there. You may know so and so. Oh, by any chance, do you have some time free? Oh, you do? Great. I'm just doing a bit of research here for the uni. Only takes 2 or 3 minutes of your time. I have it already loaded on my uh, iPad here, and then you can get people to buy into what you're doing. That's just like a quick example there.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, yeah. And it's having that self awareness to know that your audience, who you're talking to, whether they understand what you're saying, and sometimes it may be just a case of like changing the language we use to make sure that our audience understand what we're saying to them, because we in our fields, and obviously your specialist field is the sports science sector, so there's obviously going to be certain phrases that you would say to me that I wouldn't understand, but obviously you would have recognized that, and you'd be like, okay, let me use a term that he may be familiar with. So if there's is it like a deep term you would use for, let's say, muscle therapy, or for like people like ensuring that they don't get injuries and stuff?
Can you just repeat that question there? Something to do with muscle recovery, was it?
Yes, yes. So I'd said, is there a term? Is there like a deep term, like in the sports science field, for like muscle recovery that you've used before or you're familiar with?
Oh yeah. So I would say someone, oh, I've got like really bad DOMs, and they've just looked at me and say, what's DOMs?
Yeah, yeah.
So DOMs would stand for delayed onset muscle soreness. So that's a very simple one. But obviously that term's becoming fastly used within the general sector as well. So I'd put probably another one, Corey cycle. Again, that's to do with your body's ability to use lactic acid as a form of energy source. But that's a very basic run over it. It's a bit more complicated than that. anyway. I'm trying to think any other ones. No, they're probably just a couple there. If you don't want to go into any more in case it'll be a bit confusing for some people.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you can see right there that obviously you've got two phrases that you're familiar with, but like when you explained them to me, uh, you saw the difference that obviously you understand this and you understand what it stands for, but obviously a normal person wouldn't. And it's the fact that you've actually recognized that, and you're aware of that, and you're adapting to to like you said, to the person you're working with or who you're talking to. You've got that element of wanting to build a relationship from there and obviously improve communication. And that's obviously helped you in terms of like, overcoming challenges because you're aware of your surroundings, and, you've got points or people to go to for certain things, or you just, it helps, when you're solution finding, it helps as well because, you're able to come up with solutions a lot quicker because you're aware of your situation, and it may not involve, like, your solution may not involve people, but the fact that you could use multiple elements for that, it really helps as well. So, we'll move on to the next question, and I'm pretty sure this question will get you thinking about, things going forward, and, and from where you've built on from. But what would, Andrew, what would you say excites you about the future going forward?
For me, I'm going into my second year of my PhD to start the data collection, which I'm very excited. Just looking forward to collecting the data, analysing, writing up, and then completing my doctoral studies. I've got other research papers currently in review and to be submitted, and other ones I'm working on. So that's to be over the next 1 or 2 years as well. Um, Looking forward to hopefully landing a role within a university to continue doing further research and or lecturing as well. Um, Other stuff I'd probably say from a personal point of view, just looking forward to uh, getting back into the routine of the train at the gym, not so much just for the actual training, but for more the community aspect, meeting up with friends, colleagues, and everything, just having a laugh. I would say as well, just enjoying more me time, relaxing after a hard day's work or after a long week. Just sort of unplugging, enjoying music, gaming, uh, Warhammer 40K, just appreciate more time with friends and family. So they're probably the few things I'm looking forward to. And probably the last one, and most importantly, we all return to normal and COVID can go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think as well, like, obviously, I wish you the very best with your PhD. I personally wouldn't have been able to do one, but obviously you've managed. You've got the energy and the strength to do it, and you're progressing really well, and you're making great progress as well. Obviously, going back to like the two surveys that you're doing, questionnaires, and you've already received quite a substantial amount of responses. So that's really good that you're getting feedback, and obviously you're going to be using that for future research. And obviously, I'm pretty sure the uni would definitely invest in you like long term as a researcher, and also you as a lecturer in your field of sports science, and obviously talking about those critical areas to younger students as well. And sharing your stories and insights because obviously you're an alumni to the uni, so it will help that connection of you and the students as well. On the part of like fitness, yes, it's really important. It's and the fact that actually training and there's other people around you and you can see literally another human being walking past or you can even say hello. Like
Yeah.
that's a phenomenal feat. What I'm saying. So it's really important for us to have that. And it's another thing where like I think you'd said it, yeah. So the whole the friends and family aspect as well, because I think a lot of the time, what this the whole scenario, what has happened and what it's shown us is how important family can be. So it's really really like given an extra insight of into the importance of communicating with siblings and mum and dad and all that, and anyone else like you consider family as well. For like it's given us that um an extra and also it's shown us the blessings we have as well, and what we're grateful for. So I'm always for it because we've had this experience. Um it, it, it may not it's not had obviously it's had a mixed reaction on the world, and the fact that you've seen it as an opportunity to turn into a positive one is really 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 inspiring, bro, and that's really really good to hear from yourself as well.
Yeah, no, it was just it's more just like I would say like during this whole lockdown thing, going back to the point of it's like the relationships with friends and family and how important that is. I would say like I don't know about a lot of people, but I'm ensuring I'm talking more with my family and friends, just by checking in, just seeing how everyone's doing and stuff. Because some people may not get those calls or those texts or those messages, and obviously some people may be away from their own home country, maybe in lockdown in a different town or area away from their family and friends. So it's always good just to make sure everyone's okay. Just drop them a text saying, "Hey, how's things? You want to meet up for a socially distant coffee, or just go for a walk, or we'll just schedule a Zoom call or Skype, FaceTime on your phone." So I think it's really hit home just how fragile life can be, and just important to stay in touch with everyone, regardless of work or training, as well. And just thinking, family and friends do come first, and make sure you're checking in on them.
Exactly, man, and it's that important thing, like obviously meeting up with people as well. Like I think I've had a couple of meetups outside, obviously during this period where I've met a couple of close friends, just for socially distanced picnic or socially distanced walk, like around a park. Like it was a really good walk as well because I hadn't actually moved my limbs because I'd been cycling all the time. So actually having a walk, gave me that feeling of now I know what it feels like to walk because I haven't walked in a while. So it's really really important I actually got into that and went outside, saw people, saw dogs playing fetch with their owners and stuff, and it was really really it was a positive day because obviously the sun was out. It was quite warm. Obviously right now it's raining and stuff. Hoping we can get maybe one or two good, one or two good days of weather before like winter comes around. And obviously by the time this episode comes out, it may already be winter. So it's one of those as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the weather up here is changing rapidly. I mean, today it's just been raining all day, like, and it has gotten colder very, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's quite it's been one of those where welcome rain. Obviously, it's good for the environment and stuff. Obviously, too much of it, you're just thinking, oh, and the chilliness and all, man. It's one of those, man. It's one of those. Yeah. So moving on, bro. From what you said before, and obviously, I think this obviously links into how you working with your PhD as well, and how you work and your work ethic. But what would you say helps you stay focused, when you're completing activities and tasks?
Easily, right. So every day I write out a list of goals and targets to hit, and these can be from either chores in the house, personal like errands I have to do, stuff relating to my actual research, stuff relating to the further personal development stuff, or just stuff to like keep myself fit and active. Ensuring like I'm prepping meals, ensuring like the house is clean. Because for me, like a tidy workspace and a tidy house, it it just is one less thing to worry about. And if everything's clean and tidy and you know where everything is, you aren't worrying to try and find something. You don't feel everything's on top of you. I always feel like I like a a clean house is a clean mind and a clearer mind too. And with this, I would just score out the thing on my piece of paper or inside my notepad and book, and that way, whatever I don't get done, it carries on to the next day. Or if, let's say, I get an email in and my goals have to change, I can make a note and something I can always reflect on in the day and say, like, wow, I've done all of this. And that way, I'm always working, I'm always accountable. But then obviously when I compare it to my calendar diary, which I plan in advance, so every Sunday on my calendar, I would put things in the diary, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, when I'm doing it. I would color coordinate as well. Again, that's just my own thing. I would put reminders in for more important events the week ahead, if it's someone's birthday, if it's travel arrangements, or if it's a conference I'm maybe presenting at, or like an online talk. Just so that I'm always there. I mean, I know some people have a PA, but I don't yet, and something I do want to have, because it would save me a lot of
Yeah,
time just planning and prepping. But
yeah,
you know failing to plan is planning to fail. And as cheesy as it is, it's true though. And it's just always about planning ahead and understanding where and when you have to do stuff, and by prioritizing your own work. And it's the same as in training for competitions for sport as it is in your own workplace for your own goals and jobs too.
yeah, exactly, bro, exactly. So it's one of those where it's not as much as like you've got a list of 100 things you need to get through, because it could be just a simple list of maybe 3 or 4 things you want to get done for the day. But obviously, it's committing to that, getting things done, and obviously, like you said, when you get all of those things done, there's that sense of accomplishment and pride that you've managed to get through and complete these things, even though, let's say, you've had an adversity or something's come up, like you mentioned, and you make a note of it. At least you can look back on the day and you can say, I can proudly say that, oh, I went through this, I completed all of these tasks. And obviously, that gives me a great insight for what I'm going to be working on, like tomorrow or going forward, because you've had that experience and obviously you've grown from it. So it helps, that little bit, like you're taking it step by step, but you can visually see what you're working on. And sometimes it's that visibility that helps the organization and staying on top of things. And I don't, like, I agree with you, like with the amount of work you do, having a PA would definitely help alleviate a lot of the little tasks here and there. But at least in this moment, this current moment, you can appreciate that you've managed to organize yourself extremely well, and also be able to commit to doing some lectures, doing your research papers, attending conferences. I think now maybe virtual conferences, but
Yeah.
but being
But no, you're right, man, and it's more just like there is days when you're doing, like, there's some days where I literally just have to do emails and just admin, and you're just like, and you look, you're thinking, like, have I done enough? Then you look and see what you've done, and you've sent like 40, 50 emails off. You're like, yeah, I have. And sometimes it's not just quantity; it's like quality work. You may think, well, I did all of these these things here, but individually they may not be a lot of work. They may be quite, you know, low intensity tasks, but the volume of them, it all just adds up throughout the whole day. And it's just being consistent with your work, because you're going to have days where you get tons done. You may think any day, wow, I've had that morning's cup of morning coffee, and everything's really good. But there's those days where you're just like, I can't be bothered. You know what? I'll take it more of an admin day just to reorganize and plan for the next day or the next week of attack when it comes to work. And that's totally fine. You don't need to go all out every day, every hour, every minute at your work. It's good just to reflect and plan and take your time with it. Because it's the same with training. It isn't a sprint; it's a marathon, and it's about taking your time and building it up with it.
Yeah, exactly, and I think you alluded. It links into that cliche saying, obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day, and like what you
Hmm.
said about on the fitness part, where people want to go into the gym and instantly think I'm going to get lean in like a couple of like days or weeks, when it actually takes a lot more than that. It takes time and it takes effort as well. So it's about obviously building up that momentum and diligently sticking to what you're supposed to do, like and obviously not um putting yourself down. Like if there's something you wanted to get done and you didn't manage to, but you've managed to get other things done, giving yourself a pat on the back because of that, and not beating yourself up because you haven't completed that one task. You could always move it to the next day and obviously plan that in and see if you can get it done that next day as well. So that really helps.
Hmm. Of course, yeah.
So on that, bro. Obviously, the next question, obviously, it links into obviously how a bit of self reflection, and what would you say, right, are your strongest qualities, and from the qualities you have, which ones would you like to teach somebody who is interested in learning from you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Conscientious, always thinking, always trying to understand, and just like trying to understand from different points of view. That links into empathy, trying to like assume or trying to think how someone would react and stuff. And if I was to pass on to someone else in terms of what they should learn from me, would be failing's good. I failed many times and I will continue to fail at many things, but I keep going and I keep trying. And failing's fine. Like there's no shame in losing. There's no shame in, getting knocked back, not getting something done. Took me 3 attempts before I got my PhD. Took me 23 times before I could deadlift 300 kilos on the bar. Took me 5, 6 times before I could squat 250 kilos. And it probably took me way more before I could bench 140 kilos. Um, and it's all right. It's just learning, and the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the closer you will get at doing it. Don't be afraid to fail, but if you are afraid to fail, that's going to hold you back. And for all the younger ones out there who feel like you've got more pressure and you may not feel you've got the resilience or like the mental toughness, it doesn't matter. Just throw yourself in the deep end. Try, if you want to try a new sport, just go in and do it. Who cares if you come last? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter where you place. If you want to try it out for a job but you're not sure you'll end up getting it, who cares? Go in, try it. If you get it, great. If you don't, ask why. Ask how. How can you become better? How you can improve? How can you go forward? And just don't be afraid for someone to say no. I mean, no's not bad. As my grandmother always says, if it ain't for you, it'll pass you by, and that's just life. And like there's many opportunities will come for you. Some will open up multiple doors, some won't open any doors, but you'll get chances, and just seize every chance you can take, and just don't be worrying about it. Just go all in, and stop like thinking or worrying about what other people may think of you if you don't do this job or you don't act a certain way and stuff. Who cares? Just go in, have fun, and try, and don't worry about failing.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, and obviously you've highlighted that. That's one of the most valuable things as well. Like, of fail and fall, but fall forwards, and learn.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
Learn from those experiences. You become better anyways. Like, you try something and you see if it doesn't work, you get instant feedback. If it does, then you can say, okay, what can I do to even make sure it's even better next time. And obviously not um ensuring that obviously you're progressing, and you're doing it in a way where you're doing it well and to a standard that you're happy with. I think a lot of the times we may fall into the perfectionist um bubble, and that may slow us down a little bit as well. But it's about finding a standard that you find is acceptable for you, and then obviously like continuously improving that standard as you go along and adapting it to the different situations, because obviously you can't. It's not. And what's that saying about shoe sizes? Not all. Uh, Crap. Uh, uh,
The only one I know is don't assume anything about someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes.
yeah. I was thinking like with the shoe sizes, like it's not going to fit. Like the size isn't always going to be a perfect fit. Like it's going to be different sizes. But yeah, there's also that as well. I've completely forgot it, but
No, it's all right. Don't worry. Yeah,
it happens. It happens. But yeah,
but like just to go on what you're saying, I know you touched on perfectionism. I was chatting to a couple other PhD students at the uni about this, and a lot of people get into the habit of developing imposters syndrome. And I've had my fair share of it. I don't know if it's an actual medical diagnosed thing or whatnot, but I think it's to do with like putting yourself under too much pressure to try and achieve something, or trying to get the best result possible, and it can lead to unhealthy behaviors, like obviously overworking, overtraining in terms of sport and stuff, or working too hard, putting yourself under too much stress. And it's just about, as you said, getting yourself to a standard which you're happy with and you can accept. And it's not about thinking, oh, I must be the best in the room, I must be the strongest, or I must be the smartest. It's about saying, right, I want to be able to learn this, and I want to be able to learn it in a way which I am happy with. I may not be the world champion at it, or I may not be the best in my country at it, but I'm just going to improve it, and improve it in a way that I'm happy, and I can help others in it as well. So that may be, if we use research as example, we're always told that your research is not going to be the next Albert Einstein. It's very unlikely it will be, because you're not going to revolutionize or make such a huge change to the level of knowledge. But what you're probably going to do is you're just going to push that circle. So if you imagine a circle, and that circle is the research of your area, you're not going to like create a brand new circle. You're probably just going to push the circle a little bit further out.
yeah, exactly.
And that's just what it is. We were taught that by, I believe it was Andrew Ronsley, our head of our research and ethics at our uni, which I thought that was a good uh, analogy to understand, where you're at in terms of your own work, and how not to put yourself under too much pressure, and knowing that it's okay. You're human. You're allowed to make mistakes.
Exactly, man, and that's really, really important. And building on from what you said there, and how we use obviously failure as a key component in our growth and in our development. Is there anything new you're looking to like learn and pick up, going forward, obviously to obviously broaden your knowledge, broaden your skill set?
Yes, there is actually a good timing as well, because today the course materials all arrived. So like I'm just going to be doing a little uh, course just to fill up some extra time with it, just in terms of what's going on in uni and everything. And I'll be doing my GP exercise referral course through the Right Foundation, and that's right as in WRIGHT. And it's just another way of understanding patients who go to their general practice or their GP buildings or facilities in their local area, and seeing who they get referred for exercise. A way of also me working with a diverse range of uh, people who have different public health challenges, that being diabetes, obesity, overweight, perhaps people recovering from stroke, or they've just had surgery, whatnot, or the quite elderly patients dealing with arthritis, and just opens me up to a new level of patients there. And just gives me appreciation of like what other work's doing. But this also ties into my PhD, ties into my current work at the gym job as well. So it supports all of it, but allows me to understand how someone within a GP setting does exercise referral may see other barriers that may obviously prevent people from being active, and they may increase people to being inactive. So it ticks a lot of boxes for me anyway.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it sounds extremely exciting, and the fact that you're going into that and helping, um, helping toward and contributing toward finding the answers and solutions of the people that have people have been looking for the last God knows how many years. Obviously, you're not going to make um like a massive change, but you're going to make a change, and you're going to add to that. You're going to add value to that process and to that research area as well. So it's really exciting that you're going into that, man, and I'm wishing you all the best in that as well.
Cheers, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, so in yeah, you're welcome, man. And in closing, what inspiring words would you like to tell our listeners who've listened to your episode today, who are looking to improve themselves?
Um, yeah, so this is just a wee thing. I don't know where I found it, but I've had it on like my Facebook bio for years now. I think I had it since school, perhaps. I don't know, but it's like I remember reading it, and I wish I knew where I got it from because it still annoys me to this day. But I've got it as success is almost totally dependent upon drive and persistence, and for me that really just sums up to achieving goals. And it's about your own drive and ambition, but you by being persistent and consistent to achieve those goals, and about how bad you want to actually do it. So to anyone out there listening, just keep doing what you're doing. Move the pointer on the clock a little bit closer to your own goal. Keep at it. Keep consistent, and just keep working hard and enjoy it. But more important, have time to yourself and your friends and family to relax.
Absolutely, man, and that's very very important. Obviously, people need to stay dedicated, stay strong, stay in touch with loved ones, go outside. Yeah, have a
Hmm.
look at nature, even if it's gloomy. But go outside, take in the fresh air, meet up with friends and family if they can, and build on from what you're saying. Build on, like, build towards their goals, not instantaneously, but step by step, and that's really, really important. And thank you for sharing that today, bro.
No, it's all right. Thank you very much for having me on. It was great. Firstly, it was great just to catch up with you, have a chat. It's been
Definitely.
so long, and obviously, second, it's good. Thank you for having me on your podcast. Just chatting, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed listening to your guests you've had on previous ones, and obviously, I look forward to our for future conversations whenever that they may be.
Absolutely, bro. And we're always going to be talking, anyways. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions, because I think the area of sports science fascinates me because, me personally, obviously, I've been a person who's been prone to injuries, but I think it's because I've been a person who's taken long breaks from the gym, gone into the gym, gone crazy, then ended up injured, then had to rest and recover, and then not go back until, like, so there's that injury plague that I want to overcome. And I think you've highlighted it earlier that it's sometimes it's about listening to the body and understanding like limits as well, and easing back into it, and not like rushing.
Yes. Hmm.
So, I definitely do that. Well, that's all for today's episode of the P.O.T.N podcast. Thank you all for listening in and reaching the end of the show. I'd like to thank my guest and superstar Andrew for joining. Thank you for joining, bro.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on. It was a great experience.
Absolutely, man. And be sure to, if you guys are looking to look into Andrew's blog as well, we'll include that link in the description for all of you guys to check out. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Please leave a like, a review, and a comment. It'll help algorithm make my podcast easier to find for current and future listeners. Thank you all for listening in. Till next time, be well and take care.
These dark rooms just faze me. Mind is twisted, I can't be. Lost in the thought, but don't save me. This uncertainty is what tames me. I got a lot more problems that you ain't gon' hear from me. Lose little pep talk, I've got shit taken from me. I got a drink for the mild rise, got the blunt for the more rise. When I'm feeling myself, I don't see it. When these demons call, they ain't kidding. I wanna kill myself and I mean it. The speed is life and I'm slipping. Well, let me get the grip then. Try to defeat them. Find the answers in the Jesus piece. Try to swim away from the deep end. I'm still alive, so I can't concede. I can't stand these hoes, no pros. There they go, wheelchair either. I'm afraid that these women will be cutting shit deeper. Shit is cold, no fever. I've been broken all season. I've been looking for a reason. Every week in amnesia. And all these people on my nemesis. I woke up in a dream. A life check was the medicine. Music offended me, so fed to me cause I was on the string. I try to sing the chorus, show the shit that brains and stop the thing. Belongs to the type of people who cling. Or to a feeling that describes
Music by Justin Vinyls featuring Zeke and Clifford Ngosa.